this discussion is on prejudice, the roots of prejudice. Let me introduce you to the four participants.
Tamamdır abi.
From Iceland is Bjorn. Bjorn, who always has something new up his sleeve.
Ay çok ilginç bir video attın ama ya.
Who told us last night that in Iceland you can fish for boiled trout. How do you do that, Bjorn?
Oh yes, there is on one place on the north coast of Iceland there is a cold brook, and there is a trout in the brook, and there is a nearby hot spring, and the water from the hot spring flows to the brook, and it floats on the surface on the cold water. And if you catch the trout, you can pull him up to the hot upper layer.
Mevzu ne? Biri 8.40'a gel demiş. Ülkelerin ön
On
yargıları
this
mı abi?
subject of prejudice, I wonder how many of them really begin way back in the nursery, like you said yours did about the Sikhs.
I think it is very true. The only people I have ever hated are the Turks.
Okay.
I used to pray from my early childhood, God save me from the Turks. And when I was disobedient, my mother used to tell me that the Turks would come and take me. And as I was often disobedient, I lived in constant hysterical fear of the Turks. And I started hating these atrocious savages. And yet I had never seen a Turk before I met Under. I think they started hundreds of years ago, in the early days of the Ottoman Empire.
Tamam da
Then
biz kötü değildik ki amına koyayım İskandinav ülkeleriyle. Siz niye korktunuz ya?
Pirates from Turkey or from Algeria used to sail to the northern countries and plunder the churches and steal healthy people for slaves.
Ne? Tamam bak yapıyoruzdur eyvallah. Yapmışızdır. Tamam mı? Okey. Ama sanki İskandinavlar varken adam yağmalama işi ilk bize yapıştırılmaz yani abi. Hani bize sıra var gibi sanki. Onunla anılmayız gibi geldi bana ama işte.
And since then the word Turk has the meaning of something which is aggressive and warlike.
You know, since we've got a Turk right here in the studio, I think we probably ought to produce him. And you can't produce a Turk in 1958 without a Greek. So I'm wondering, Patsy, would you and Swan cede your places to Underguler from
Okey abi. Yunan reisin yanına mı getiriyorlar abi?
Turkey?
Bir ara bayağı eğlenceymiş zamana koyayım insanlar için ya. Bu ne abi?
And
Önder babaya bak. Adamı siker Önder.
At the opening of the program, that by the way is the Forum
Hadi
Blues
oğlum.
that
Hadi
Omer
aslan.
composed shortly after he got here, and it's become almost our theme song. Everybody knows it. From Greece is Angeliki Layu. Now, go ahead, aggressive and warlike Turk. Did you follow fully what Bjorn said about Turks?
Yeah, I was listening to him, and you know, we Turkish people would like very much for the other nations to see the difference between the Ottoman Empire and the modern Turkey today. Unfortunately, the people who don't know enough about the things that happened in the 20th century always mixed up their prejudices about the Ottoman Empire with their thoughts about modern Turkey. I just wonder if you do the same thing in Greece, Aiki.
Well, I just wouldn't say that we do the same thing in the same way in Greece. But it's interesting that one ocean and one continent across from Iceland, we still have kind of the same feeling towards the Turkish people. And I would say that it's kind of more natural for us because we really have suffered much during the 400 years of the Turkish occupation.
Bruh.
And because we had to survive.
Bruh. Amına kodumun Hipokratları sizi. Bak olmadı değil. Tamam mı? Olmuştur. Kesinlikle olmuştur. Kesinlikle bir şeyler yaşanmıştır. Kesinlikle acılar çekilmiştir. Eyvallah. Ama sırf batınızda diye bunun tillahını yapan İngiltere'ye okey olup hani Osmanlı'ya bilenmek çok ikiyüzlülük abi. Çok ikiyüzlülük.
Our nationalism and our difference from the Turks, which came to be that we were better than the Turks, had to be stressed. And even today, if we see someone who doesn't eat in a very polite way, we usually say, "Are you a Turk?" and it works. And at school,
Sik şunları Önder Baba.
when we study history, we usually say that the Turks have destroyed a great civilization, our civilization. And what is interesting is that some people get the idea that really they didn't have any civilization, any great civilization of their own. And that
Oğlum bu tam bir çocuk kıskanması lan ama. Bunlar nasıl fikirler amına koyayım ya. Benim kalemi yıktı, onlarınki kale değil zaten.
well, they're not very well educated, and in general that no Turk can be any good. Also, another strong prejudice in my country is that the assurance that some people have that the Greek people now and forever is one of the most important and intelligent peoples on earth.
Vay amına koyayım ya. Ama bence şöyle bir şey var. Bu bence sadece Türklere karşı bakış açıları değil. Yani sanki bir propagandaymış gibi öğretilmiş cümleler abi bunlar. Çok öğretilmiş şeyler yani. Çok değişik bir aşağılık kompleksinin cümleleri abi. Ya birisi niye binlerce yıl önce yaptığı şeylerden devamlı hala gururla bahseder ki sürekli üzerine koyup çalışmak yerine? Biz de yapıyoruz bunu maalesef. Biz de yapıyoruz. Hep işte Osmanlı, bir zamanlar siktik falan yapıyoruz ama artık önümüze bakmamız lazım abi. Artık şu an bir şeyler koymamız lazım yani, tamam. 600 sene önce, 1000 yıl önce olan oldu amına koyayım yani, tamam.
It sounds pretty interesting, you know. I'm glad that the word Turk has a better meaning here in United States than it seems to have in Greece and Iceland. Am I not right that the members of the Young Turk group in Congress are glad and proud to be called Turks?
Yes.
Anyway, we got bigger problems with bigger nations, so we don't hear the same kind of prejudice in our country against Greece.
İşte bu acımasız, terbiyesinde, edebinde müthiş bir sikiş. Bakın arkadaşlar, laf sokma sanatında isteyerek mi yaptı bilmiyorum ama hani gerçekten muazzam bir hareket. Sıfır kabalaştı, sıfır ofansif oldu ama gerçekleri söyledi.
You know, when I was a little boy, I used to play Russians and Turks just the same way American kids play cowboys and Indians. This shows that our biggest problem is with the people who are the biggest problem of the whole free world today. You're also telling that we spoiled your civilization in Greece by occupying your country for more than 400 years. But I would like to point out that if the Ottoman Empire didn't give you the freedom of religion and the freedom of keeping your civilization, I don't think you would be able to talk that way today, just because there wouldn't be any nation called Greece anymore, Greek nation anymore.
Well, honestly, I don't think this is a very effective argument. First of all, I think that, of course, in different countries we study history in a different way and we stress different points. But still, I think that both of us would admit that maybe in the beginning they did give a certain amount of religious freedom to the Greeks. Maybe just because they wanted to stress the Orthodox religion and keep them away from uniting in some way with the Catholics, which would produce a different situation.
Yok, o bayağı eskinin meselesi. Türklerle ortaya çıkmış bir mesele değil amına koyayım yani şimdi bu. Hani
For Turkey. But then I would say that later on there were some really bad conditions for the Greeks, and they didn't have the opportunity to study their own language. They had to study it secretly under bad conditions, and well, I wouldn't say it was much of a tolerant spirit, but still, I don't think that a nation with the long tradition that the Greeks had, with a strong national conscience, with the language, with their religion, and which was very different from
hayır. Neyse.
the Turkish. And by the way,
Hayır yani yok, çok bu orada var mı bir AKP falan? Oralı yani bu.
I think that you would admit that the Turkish civilization wasn't as great as the Greek at that time. I don't speak about today, I speak about that time. Well, I think it would survive if even after, under strong oppression, just because oppression can't limit the mind of people. who have such a...
Yani ne abi, şey mi iddiası? Biz bunları aslında opresledik, devşirmeye çalıştık. Yunan diye bir şey bırakmamaya çalıştık. Ama Yunan medeniyeti o kadar eski, kadim, güçlü bir medeniyet ki yok etmek istesen de yok edemezsin. O yüzden hayatta kaldık. O yüzden dilimizi konuşuyoruz. Böyle bir argüman mı bu, amına koyayım?
a long tradition and who have to fight continuously as the Greeks had to fight. And I would say that after strong oppression, the nationalistic spirit just blossoms like the Greek, the Jewish, or anything else in the world.
But tell me, you peaceful people,
Hadi bakalım. Okey, Avrupalıyı sikiyor.
what about your feelings about the Cyprus dispute?
Well, I would like to listen to the Greek point of view first.
The Greek or mine?
Well, I thought that your point of view was the same with the Greek point of view when I first met you in the beginning of the forum. Is there any difference now?
Bu arada haklı bir cümle. Çocuk racizm yapmıyor veya bir kalıba sokmuyor. Kız Yunanistan gibi konuşuyor, amına koyayım yani.
Well, there's difference in all of my opinions and ideas in 6 weeks.
Really,
Anyway.
Ike?
Yes, certainly. And I think this is one of the most important things that this forum has done to us, to most of us.
Well, go on. Forgive me.
Çok edepli çocuk. Çok güzel bir çocuk çıkmış oraya yani. Hani çok kendine hakim, kontrollü ve dili güzel dönen bir çocuk çıkartmışız. Helal olsun.
Well, I would say that
Dede oldu
our
tabii artık.
strongest argument, the strongest argument of the people of Cyprus is that every human being has the right to the right of self-determination. And I would say that, of course, the situation now in Cyprus is very difficult because of the strong conflict between the Greeks and the Turks. But as some British people admit, and as we point out in Greece, I don't know what you say in Turkey, this problem really didn't exist some years ago, but it began to exist just because the British aroused it, so that they could divide and rule. And I would say that now that Great Britain doesn't have hold of the situation anymore. But I would say that Cyprus really was a part of Greece for many, many years, more than it was a part of Turkey. And of course your argument that
Yani ona bakarsan da o zaman amına koyayım mağara adamları yaşıyordu. Şeyde de, Anadolu'da da. Onlar yönetsin abi burada. Oh wait, bir dakika. Zaten yapıyorlar. Neyse ama hani anladınız mı pointi? Böyle bir şey var mı abi? Biz de amına koyayım bayağı bir vakit geçirdik Kıbrıs'ta yani. Bizim de hakkımız var birader. Hani 300 sene falan kaldık biz de orada ya.
near Turkey is very strong.
Well, let's
But I
hear
don't think
Onder's
it's the
argument.
strongest.
Well, you say that self-determination is the most important thing for a place to be belonging to some other country. But we must also take consideration of the historical and geographical facts. As you know, Cyprus has been under Turkish rule for more than 300 years.
Evet yani.
And it's only 43 miles away from Turkey, and it's 150 miles away from Greece. You know, the Taurus Mountains, which are on the southern part of Turkey, just go under the sea and go up again. That makes it Cyprus. I mean, that's a part of Turkey. But, and of course, I realize that there are more Greek people in Cyprus than Turkish people. There are, I think, 300,000 Greek people and 120,000 Turkish people. And our opinion about Cyprus is not to have the whole part of the island. We wouldn't be so foolish to want that. I mean, there are so many people in Turkey who want it that way, but I just don't think that way because it's not the logical way.
Okay, o arada varmış abi, girelim sikelim 82 Atina falan diyen adamlar varmış herhalde o dönemde de. Ama çocuk bak ne güzel anlatıyor.
But I think that the northern part of the island, where there are more Turks, must be belonging to Turkey. So we will be sure that the rights of the Turkish people over there are given as well as the rights of the Greek people there. And I mean, if we have that part of island, we won't have so many things. I mean, there will be just a few more grapes and wine in Turkey and that's all. But we will be spending much money to defend that part of the island against the other nations who don't want the real peace over the world. You could realize how bad it would be if Russia had a base in Cyprus and control all the Europe. And
Çok güzel. Muazzam bir farkındalık yaratmış çocuk kendine. Esclap bu adam yani. Hani muazzam geliştirmiş kendini. Öyle aptal aptal toprak parçası önemli değil onun için. Büyük resim önemli abi. Helal olsun.
As you realize, Turkey has a strong army, and if Greece has Cyprus, Turkey will be defending that part of the world against Russia indirectly because of NATO. But if we have it, and we will be defending that part of the world against Russia very well.
Don't you think that NATO is able to defend Cyprus?
Well, if we will be in Cyprus, then we will be able to defend it by ourselves and by NATO
defended by the British.
May I speak, please?
Biraz vurucu bir soru sordu oradan İzlandalı pezevenk. Yakaladı oradan ama yani kardeşim tek mesele NATO'nun koruması vesairesi değil ki. Türk de var işte. Türklerin olan kısım bizim olsun amına koyayım yani. Bu kadar abi.
Well, first of all, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to defend Cyprus as we are able to defend Greece, and we were able to defend it even after the after the disaster that had come after the Second World War. I won't go very far into that, but I would say that your historical argument is not too strong, because Greece, first of all, was...
Hayır ama bu historical argument değildi ki amına koyayım zaten. Senin daha fazla orada olduğun okey, onu kabul ediyoruz. Sen daha fazladır oradasın ama mesele bu değil ki amına koyayım ya. Of çok pepega bu karı.
Under Turkish occupation for 400 years, and I still think that Turkey does recognize Greece as a nation now and as a country now. And as for the geographical, it's strong. But look at Pakistan. It's divided by India. Still, it's one country, one nation. And well, I don't think that many people in the island would really like the partition of the island. And I don't think that Greece...
Ne dedi abi? Bir şey dedi arada ama çok gitti yani. O öyle gitti.
...would like for the island what I would like for it. Well, my point is that for some years, Cyprus could be sort of independent nation under the control of NATO. Just so that it's the...
Tamam, çok da aşırı kötü bir fikir değil. Yani komple Türkleri atmak da olabilirdi adadan fikirleri. Ama adaletli olacak mıydı o da işte? Adaletli olacak mıydı? Kim yönetecek? Yunan'ı mı koyacaksınız başamık? O da çok önemli yani. Bence mixed bir meclis ve hani eşit dağılmış bir meclis bunun çaresi olurdu onda. Lider bile 2 tane olmalıydı yani. Yoksa ne anlamı var amına koyayım?
The atmosphere is a little calm. And after that we could have self-determination. And I think that the rights of the minority could be very much respected as they are in...
Ben şeyi bilmiyorum. Ülke yaptılar mı ve hadi bakalım şimdi işte başa koy... O kısmı bilmiyorum arkadaşlar. Kıbrıs'ın tarihini öyle bilmiyorum. Hani Türkiye konflikti olarak işte Ayşe tatile çıksın. İşte Erbakan'ın fikri Ecevit uyguluyor falan. Hani o var bende.
The northern part of Greece.
Denendi olmadı mı? Olmadı.
They are not in Turkey.
Yani.
Well,
But don't you think now, Angelique, if Cyprus would be unified with Greece now, that
Arkadaşlar Erbakan okey fikirleriniz var biliyorum ama Ecevit'in tek başına aldığı bir karar da değildi bu yani şimdi. Bu fact arkadaşlar. Yani tarihi olduğu gibi anlatacaksın abi.
19.4% of the Turkish minority would suffer from the Greek rule?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think that they wouldn't like it, and I think that it might start even a war. That's why I don't really think that Cyprus should unite with Greece. But still, I think that we do respect the rights of the Turkish minority in the north.
Tamam.
But what about Cyprus being a Commonwealth of Britain, like the...
I don't think the people of Cyprus
there'll be
like
still
that.
troubles in Cyprus, you know, if Great Britain will be on Cyprus, yes. Because you know, all the fights and everything in Cyprus are because of the just because the Great Britain does not give the same right.
İyi, en azından ortak bir masadayız İngiltere'ye bakış açısı konusunda.
And as we are in the NATO with Greece, and I think it would be the best way to divide the island in 2 parts. I don't want the whole part of the island, but just a part of it. And because of the facts that I pointed that out, you told me that there had been a changement between your opinion about Cyprus before you came here and now. would you please explain that to us? I mean,
Biraz heyecanlandı
what
galiba.
difference did you feel you had by being here in the United States just about 2 months?
Well, when I refer to the difference, I'd rather refer to the difference between my prejudices against Turks, which weren't very strong when I came here, but they're less stronger now, much less stronger. Still, I think I've understood much
Ne
better.
abi çok
and,
ilginç lan.
that
O zaman daha dünya tam global değil ya. Hakikaten öcü gibi falan mı görünüyoruz onlar bizi hayal edince acaba? Çok üzücü lan.
Really, it's not a solution to for Cyprus to unite with Greece right now. I mean, I had a vague idea, but I wasn't that sure.
I've got to interrupt you. We've only got a few minutes more, and we've been talking so much about prejudices about each other's countries. I wonder if each of you could quickly, starting with you, Bjorn, tell us whether you have some prejudices against Americans because of Americans in your country.
Yes, I think that
Vay amına koyayım, ne kadar güzel bir propaganda olmuş. Mevzu Amerikalılara ve Amerikalılara olan ön yargıyı kırma üzerineymiş aslında en başından beri. Çünkü yani okey çocukları konuşturdular ama ana konuyu oraya bağladı kadın.
it's not really against Americans, it's only against the American GIs who remain in the country. You say there is I would say segregation. The American, they have a town of their own in Keflavik, their air base, and every
Bizimki ne düşünüyor abi? Bizimki ne düşünüyor Amerikalılar hakkında? Ha, kanka Önder anlat abi. Ne düşünüyorsun? Hadi bakalım.
Wanda.
I don't think the American servicepersonal in Turkey are representing their countries in the right way.
Alfa,
You know what?
acımasız, tabii ki. Tabii ki her zamanki gibi acımasız.
And those GIs away from their country, they think that they are able to do many things, and they even think that they are free to do some of the things that which they can't even do here in the United States. So that gives a bad impression about the American people in Turkey. But anyway, Turkish people like Americans, and we like the government and policy.
I just wonder, all three
Nasıl toparladı? Çat çat çat çat çat çat çat çat. Tabii ki ülkeyi çok seviyoruz. Politikalarını destekliyoruz.
of you have mentioned the segregation of the Americans. It's been called golden ghettos. It makes me wonder whether the strength of America at home, which is the community feeling, the wanting to be together and cooperate with your neighbor, doesn't work against us abroad.
Oh, yes.
It works for us in this country, but when we carry it abroad, you feel we're segregated, really. Well, let's get a reaction quickly from Thailand. I'm sorry, our time's almost up. What about reaction to America
Ulan bu çocukcağız konuştu mu ki amına koyayım ya? Ben yeni gördüm bu çocuğu abi.
in Thailand?
well, I don't think the people
Hani bir reaksiyon falan da mı vermedi çocuk? Arada bir çekelerdi amına koyayım
in
ya.
Thailand like the Americans so much. First, because of the GI too. There's so many GI in my country, and they're always drunken and destroy something. And
Oo biriktirmiş. Çocuğu konuşturmayınca tabii sinirlenmiş amına koyayım. Konuş be reis.
But what about the aid, the American aid?
the other thing, most of the people in Thailand think that we are under America secretly. That may be because of the American aids to our country. I think there are so many aids to our
Oo gurur meselesi. Bayağı gururu kırılmış bu çocuğun ya.
country, such as education, arms, military, advisor in military, agriculture, etc. So we just wonder, why are we helped so much like that? In what state are we connected? So we just have a thought and begin to think like I've told you.
I'm sorry, that's all.
Of oğlum çocuk bayağı emperyalist oyunlardan bahsediyor aslında. Niye bize her şeyde yardım ediyorlar? Bizi kontrol mü edecekler falan modunda ama kesiyorlar sözünü. Çok güzelmiş bu arada. Acayip güzel bir videoymuş. İyi ki izledik. Acayip eğlendim bundan. Güzeldi, güzeldi. Böyle kaliteli videolarınız varsa izleriz abi, izleriz.